So it's true. You've probably heard it. If you watch the Super Bowl, you saw Claude just ultimately stomp ChatGPT for allowing ads on their platform. But in this video, I'm going to break down what it actually means for real estate investors and wholesalers, and if you guys can truly find leads using ChatGPT ads. So here we go. Let's dive in. All right. So just a brief overview. ChatGPT is one of the fastest growing softwares, if you will, platforms in the world ever. Like far faster, than Facebook and anything else, and YouTube and all of this stuff as far as adoption goes, right? So ultimately, it was just a matter of time. They started out as a nonprofit, and then they kind of switched, and they got all this stuff. And, because they're growing so fast, they have exceptional amount of debt, and they haven't been profitable. So it was only a matter of time before ads came into play. So as of Monday, February 9th, ads started to show up on ChatGPT for their free tier and their new lowest paid tier of users, which is $8 a month. So ads started showing up. Now, many of you are probably like me and you're wondering, okay, well, what ads? Like, is it like small businesses? No, it's like the big boys, so essentially, they courted, some of the largest marketing firms in the world to get your Volkswagens and Visas and McDonald's and, all of your mega companies, if you will, your American Expresses, all of these companies with minimum $200,000 commitments on ad spend. And honestly, we're going to dive into cost of these ads and everything later in this video, but let's just say it's the big boys. It's not your mom and pop shops. It's not your local real estate investment firms. It's not your wholesalers. It's not anything like that yet. But the important part is to understand this platform, understand how they're going to be rolling out ads, and see if there is an opportunity. Because while it is super expensive right now and maybe not the most accessible, that doesn't mean that it's always going to be like that, right? And it's just going to be one of those things to keep an eye on. So that's really what I want to dig into, in this video. So first off, let's just talk about ChatGPT and their overall statistical adoption. I think that's a really big misnomer among real estate investors and people, who use property bots, right? Our clients, the wholesaler, the property manager, folks like that. What we assume is that home sellers, because they're older, right? They're 55 and up and everything like that. They're not even touching ChatGPT. They have no idea. They have no idea about it, anything like that. Well, let's actually look at the numbers here. So I'm going to scroll over to the screen here. So this is a SEMrush company. So this is from Exploding Topics. So SEMrush, they are one of the top. If you don't know who SEMrush is, they're one of the top. Or SEMrush really is what you're supposed to say. They're one of the top, SEO analytics companies and for marketers. So they're really, kind of tuned into their data here. But what they're saying here is just looking at this ChatGPT, adoption by age. So they're saying here around 1 in 10, or 9% of 45 to 64-year-olds. And 5% of 65 plus year olds have used ChatGPT. So, okay, well, yeah, that seems really small. What are we talking? 14% of people. Well, when we run the math on that, 14% of these folks, I mean, there's, that's about 20 million people. So that's 20 million people 45 and up, right, who have used ChatGPT to generate some sort of text, and they've used it themselves. And this adoption is getting faster and faster and faster, far faster than Facebook and YouTube and all of these things. So as the adoption curve continues to explode with ChatGPT and more people use it, thinking about advertising could be a possibility. Is it there yet? Let's pump the brakes on that. We really don't know, but what we do know is that more and more people are using it. Similarly here, looking at this older age group, and we're talking about sellers, right? Potential home sellers and stuff. People have seen text used. 27% of 45 to 64-year-olds have seen text used. 30% have seen people use it. And, who knows, it could be their grandkids, it could be their children, using ChatGPT, showing them ChatGPT, whatever the case may be. But once someone learns how to use it, how to download the app, then they're off to the races and using it, especially on that free tier where, advertisers are going to be targeting people the most, right? And then there's people who have never heard of it, never used it, all of these things. So it's important to understand, what is available and what is out there. But at the end of the day, there's 20 million people who are actively using ChatGPT, which could be within the demographic of home sellers. Now, I understand that's not 20 million home sellers, who want to sell their house for cash or something like that, but there is a strong metric there to consider. So when we think about ads, how are these ads even going to be rolled out, right? And if we go over here, I mentioned earlier, the ads, you got your Amexes and your Visas and your Volkswagens, your mega companies, right? They're $200,000 commitments. What does that look like, right? So this is just an article from TechCrunch. Number one, what are the ads going to look like, and what is the effect on the marketplace going to be? So the long and short of it is, there's not really a lot of data. I personally have been playing around just on my free tier of ChatGPT, even though I have the paid one. I log into the free one and go and see if I can get ads to pop up, and it's hit or miss, right? But they'll have banner ads. They'll have some other kind of, it's more e-commerce stuff, right? Where they'll start putting things in place. If you say, oh, what's the best mattress or something, you might get a Wayfair mattress company or something. This is down the road, right? Where you'll get some of those stuff. But eventually what we can be doing here is, and again, it says here that they're looking at bringing ads into their free tier and their $8 a month tier, which is the vast majority of their user base, right? They're saying, oh, well, we don't want to, influence people's decision-making and all the stuff with the ads and all of this. But I think, right now, because the ad space is limited and they're in their beta test right now, I think there's going to be an opportunity for a lot of these bigger companies to test. At the end of the day, these large companies, they have humongous research and development, humongous marketing budgets, all of these things. So they can just throw money at the wall and see what sticks. For those of you who are wondering, oh, well, hey, what's the difference between Google, my PPC ads right now? Like, how is this ChatGPT going to affect, everything that's going on with that? And the truth is, Google is still winning. Google, they're going to be winning definitely in the short term, for this, because Google has an entire infrastructure for marketers to use their platform, get trusted analytics from their platform, and actually drive traffic. So if you're a wholesaler, a real estate investor out there that's got direct to seller and, inbound marketing and all of this stuff working for you, do not run away from your PPC campaigns right now. That is a bad idea, right? Don't just go full send into ChatGPT when it becomes available for SMBs and make that happen, because that's probably not going to work out for you in the long run. But what you can do is monitor what's happening. I think Google's going to win in the short term for a various number of reasons. Like I said, number one, they have the analytic platform. Marketers trust this platform, and with what Gemini is doing with their AI summary and putting the AI summary on top, right? So if you just Google anything, and here I was just Googling something here, we'll just refresh it. You have here's your AI overview, right? And then, I don't know if there's any sponsored tabs on this, but the idea would be your AI summaries here, and then your sponsored tabs go here, and then so on and so forth, to look into population, information or whatever you're searching, right? So Google's still going to win there. Plus the, looking at the CPM. So, CPM of ChatGPT ads, it's pretty expensive, right? So we're talking here, we could pull this up. $60 is what the going rate is for 1,000 impressions. So what, and who knows if these impressions are actually going to drive traffic to you, right? Where, when we compare that with television and broadcast TV and streaming TV, you're looking at 43.50 for an impression, 1,000 impressions, and streaming is 27.30. You can see this post here that someone put together. The idea here is just comparing why it's so expensive, and it's so expensive right now because it's very limited on who can pay to play to be in there. But it's going to be more expensive than your Google, than your PPC, then that's driving physical traffic, to your landing pages. Now, what people are saying about ChatGPT as this platform becomes available for SMBs to use, SMBs like yours, SMBs like mine, what they're saying is going to happen is they're going to have different ad sets that you can go in and, and work with, but essentially kind of like an ad manager platform, like you would in your Facebook or your Meta, or Google or anything like that. And then you're going to be able to put banner ads, you're going to be able to drive ads to landing pages and everything. I think what's ultimately going to happen is, it's going to be reserved for the mega companies, your large companies first, and then it'll slowly trickle out to SMBs as they get more data and they figure out, what's working, what's not working. And I think this CPM will come down. It's not going to be $60 forever, because that would just be exceptionally expensive leads, to make that happen. But it will come down as adoption from marketing agencies and businesses, take hold. And I think in the beginning, if for wholesalers or investors out there, you want to drive traffic, right, to a landing page, you want to drive traffic to your website, to filling out a form, to getting interest in cash offers and whatever, finding distressed sellers and everything like that. I would say, for this, just keep an eye on it. Obviously, we got to open it up for small businesses. We got to see what's happening. I think the best thing that everyone can do is really work on their SEO and their AIO. So their SEO being search engine optimization, and their AIO being, AI optimization, right? Like, how can we be found on ChatGPT organically, not with ads? How can we be found organically first? What content do we need to be posting? What sources are giving us the most authority on the platform organically, and then see how that drives traffic. And then of course you can go, and if ads make sense for you, come out. But I think honestly, these ads in the beginning, they're going to be a lot of like brand awareness ads. It's not going to be, major breakthroughs on direct to seller type stuff that's going to outperform your PPC or outperform your direct mail. I'm still a firm believer in the top 3 absolute, inbound lead sources. You're going to want your direct mail. You're going to want your PPC or SEO, combination of both probably, right? And then once you graduate those 2, the next level is going to be your television. Now, why TV? Because TV is where your viewers are. It's where your home sellers are. It's the older population, that 55 and up. They are watching television. Now, the kicker is, as AI adoption takes over, as ChatGPT usage continues to grow, and that adoption continues to grow, hey, listen, we ran the numbers earlier. More and more millions and millions of people are going to be using ChatGPT. So it would benefit you now to really hone in on your SEO and AIO. And guess what? The same principles exist for SEO than they do AIO. Posting strong, authoritative, personalized content, and talk to an SEO expert. But when you combine those inbound leads with AI solutions handling those leads, and carrying those leads through your sales funnel, you're going to prepare yourself and make yourself a leaner, meaner, more profitable company. So ultimately, looking at ChatGPT and ads, they came out on Monday. It is an exciting time to be alive in the marketing space. Is it something that you need to go crazy on right now? No, you don't need to, but it's something that you're going to want to keep your eye on as adoption takes over. And if you're a user of ChatGPT, you'll probably start seeing these ads and understanding it. But it's important for you to understand the demographics of your ICP, understand the adoption curve of this technology, and who's watching it and who's using it and all of these things, and understand that, maybe SMBs can't strike right now, but you're going to want to be poised to strike to make sure that as these CPMs come down and as marketing adoption of ChatGPT ads becomes more prevalent, if you will, then that it could be the time to strike and put some money into it and put some R&D of your marketing budget to work. As this CPM comes down, and you're able to actually. Of course, you're going to want to drive people to a landing page or drive people to an offer form if you're a wholesaler or real estate investor. But yeah, right now, I would just be very attuned to what's going on. So hopefully this video helped. If you got any value out of this video, do me a personal favor, smash that like and subscribe button. I am growing this channel. And if you have any questions or comments about how how AI can work for your business, or what you're planning with AI, or anything about this video, just hit me up in the comments, and I'm happy to answer and share any knowledge that I have. But appreciate you watching, and see you in the next video.